back. As always, we'll start with James. Go ahead.
Chris, back at Edgbaston in England colours, your home ground. How pumped are you with what lies ahead over the next few days?
Yeah, extremely excited. I've obviously a real biased opinion, but I love playing here. I've spent a lot of my whole life here, so whenever I come here for an international, it's got that extra buzz and just a real good feeling turning up at your home ground to be a part of a big series. So exciting week ahead.
And tests against India here are particularly loud, boisterous, and the atmosphere tends to take off.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, we get a great support here always. The Hollies will be rocking, no doubt, and also, there'll be a lot of Indian fans in as well. They obviously have a great following, particularly here in Birmingham. So I'm sure it all makes for a great atmosphere for both teams. But just great to be a part of it, for sure. Yeah.
How are you feeling after the ankle injury and your return at the first innings at Headingley? A tough one. Are you still getting back up to speed a little bit?
I feel like I'm close. Like I say, I think it was a tough first few days. I think for the bowlers up at Headingley, it was hot and pretty good batting surface. But I thought we obviously all stuck at it well. I think I got better as the game went on. The body, was good. Always good to come through a Test match unscathed, injury-wise. So better for the run out, and obviously for the team to get a win. It was a huge week for us. So obviously better for myself. I felt like I bowled better in the second innings, but the body felt good, which is obviously a real bonus.
Do you feel more comfortable bowling here as well, knowing the ground so well and the conditions?
You hope so. You like to think. Obviously, I've played a lot of cricket here over my time, and you generally know what pitches are like and the conditions that you're coming up with. But at the same time, whenever you start on a new surface, you have to adapt. You have to assess the conditions, and hopefully that experience, I suppose, that I've had over the years here, that will hold me in good stead for this Test match.
And you mentioned experience with James Anderson and Stuart Broad retiring. You're now the senior member of the bowling attack. How are you settling into that new role?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Obviously, it's I think I said in a previous presser not that long ago. I played a lot of my England games with Jimmy and Broady, so it is different. Obviously, not having them around, but also it's a great opportunity for myself. I've enjoyed that role so far. It's good to pass on a little bit of knowledge to some younger guys that haven't played as much Test cricket, and also I'm learning from them. You're always on that journey of learning every time you go out there. So thoroughly enjoying it, and just want to be able to contribute to team wins like we did in Headingley, and hopefully there's more of that to come.
And you're 36 now. How much further ahead are you looking? Can you take inspiration from what James Anderson has done in Test cricket? He's 41.
I don't think I'll be playing when I'm 41, James. Particularly for England. Look, I think I've tried to get the most out of my career. I'm still in that position where I feel like I'm trying to get better, trying to improve every time I go out there. Pass on that knowledge, as I said. People like to talk about age a lot, but at the same time, it is just a number. As long as I'm contributing to the team and feel like I'm performing well, then I'll carry on. If one day that sort of time comes where you get a tap on the shoulder, then so be it. But at the minute, I'm enjoying it. Love being around the group. Love enjoying playing cricket for England still, and I'll carry on for as long as I possibly can.
And Jofra Archer's back with the group. How good to have him amongst the ranks again?
Yeah, great. Brilliant for Joff, brilliant for us as a team. Obviously, it's a big boost to have him back. When Joff's around, he adds a lot to the group, not just as a player, but as a person, as a character. He's obviously had a tough journey over the last few years with his injuries, and I think it's credit to him, the hard work that he's put in to be able to be back in this position now, to be able to hopefully play Test cricket again. But yeah, as I said, more delighted for him than us, really, because I know how hard it is to go through long spells of injury. So I probably haven't had the layoffs that he's had, but I know even just a niggle here and there can be really hard mentally. So full credit to him to get back to where he is now, where he's been an opportunity to play for England again. So great for us, great for him, and obviously great for the England fans as well to see him back in whites, hopefully.
Can he get back to his best, do you think, or do England fans need to manage expectations?
No, I think his best is probably still ahead of him. I think he looks physically great. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to get back out there and show people what he has already done in the whites. We all know how good he can be, but he's at an age where his best is probably still ahead of him. So that's exciting for him. It's exciting for us, and hopefully when he does get back out there, whether that's this week, next week, whenever it is, it'll be great to have him back, and obviously great for the fans also as well.
Thank you.
We'll go Joe and then Vish.
Chris, is another captivating 5-day test match in Headingley, and a match that England won from a position that, well, statistically an odd one, wasn't it? Because he had 500s in just 2 innings, and then you win.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel as a bowling group, though, you have to do something a bit different against the Indian batters?
I think we know how good the Indian batters are. I think there was obviously a lot of talk about the retirement of the two legends of the game, but they've always had great depth, knocking on the doors to come through, and we've seen that. Some excellent players that we know we've got to be at our best to perform well against. Headingley was a pretty good surface to bat on, which made it hard work for the bowlers all round, I think. But obviously we did well in terms of being able to take 20 wickets, and when they got ahead of the game with the bat, we managed to drag ourselves back into the game, which is really important and a good skill to have. But moving forward to here, I'm sure, again, probably looking at another good batting surface. There's good weather around, so it might be another hard week for the bowlers. But we'll obviously look at what things that we did well last week, maybe the things that we didn't do so well, and try and put them right again this week.
And by modern standards, there's a reasonable gap between these two test matches. In that sense in particular, is there any need to think about changing our winning team from England?
I don't know. I think you always turn up at a new venue and look at the surface, look at the conditions, look at the past history of the surfaces that you play on at these venues, and maybe reassess and what is likely to give you the best opportunity of winning this week. So that's not for me to decide, but we obviously put in a really strong performance last week, and we're looking to do the same whichever 11 goes out there this week.
Just finally from me, and perhaps almost the most surprising thing about England's win is that people aren't surprised about winning in that kind of circumstance again. But I just wonder, within the kind of the ethos and mentality of the team, to chase a total like that, does it just reinforce the kind of belief that you have in the way you're playing test match cricket?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, as a player and as a team, you always get confidence from doing things well and winning. You can do things well and lose, and it doesn't quite always have that same effect. So it's always good to get over the line and get a win. That does breed some confidence within the group to show that we're doing some things right. We're also a group that we know we need to improve. There's areas that we did last week that we know we can do better. So yeah, we'll look at putting those things right. But certainly as a team, the way we go about things, we're pretty happy with how we go about things, and this kind of style of cricket and the brand of cricket that we want to play. We know that that's been successful over the last few years, and we'll stick to that. But there's definitely still tweaks that we know we can do a bit better as a team. So we'll be looking to do that.
Vish, go ahead.
Hi Chris, as someone who knows what it's like to balance, your duty to bat and ball, how impressed were you with the way that Stokes bowled in that last test?
Yeah, he was incredible. And without him having played a load of cricket leading into the test match, for him to come in and do what he did and hit his straps, at good pace. He's obviously fit and lean at the minute, looking really strong, which is great for us, because obviously we want him to play every test match that we play, but also obviously we want him to be that seamer that can bowl his overs and do what we know he can do, which he did last week. I thought he was amazing on a good pitch. He looked threatening every time he had the ball, the newer ball or the older ball. I think that's good to have. We all know what Stokes is capable of, but it's great to have your leader being able to grab the ball like that and kind of showing you the way sometimes. So yeah, we know what he's capable of, and it was great that he showed that last week at Headingley. It was really good.
His speeds in particular were probably the highest they've been for a while, actually, with him, and the consistency of the spells as well. Did you sense that was coming? Because it sounds like he was bowling quite a lot in the nets, even like a couple of days beforehand, when maybe you wouldn't normally do that. Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't do things in half measures, does he? When he's training, and when he has time off, he has time off. But when he's there and he's doing his work, it's a real pleasure to watch sometimes. And yeah, I could sense it was coming. He's certainly been training hard. I mean, you can see the physical state he's in. He's in really good condition. And I think obviously the injuries that he's had, he's probably just doubled down on his fitness to make sure he's in the best shape possible to be able to lead this team at his best. And he certainly did that last week, and hopefully there's more of that to come for the rest of this series.
Just the last one from me. Do you think he's a bit more skillful than he was before because he's been able to work on his skills rather than just preserve himself from match to match?
I think he's just, I look at the best players in the world, and they're always trying to get better, and he's always been the same, Ben. And I think over this little period, he's probably looked at his bowling and thought he could probably tinker a few things, try a few different new deliveries, whether that be wobble seam or, he's been able to swing it. I mean, he's incredibly skillful. I think maybe in the past where he felt like he was probably just a bit inconsistent with it. But I think, as you say, I think what you saw last week was he was incredibly consistent with what he was trying to do. His relentlessness and his energy on the ball was as good as I've seen for a long time. So that's a good sign for us and for him.
We've got time for two more. One at the front here, and then we'll just go at the back, and then we're done.
Chris, obviously last game we saw a flat wicket, but on those flat wickets, even India had 2 batting collapses. So going into the England innings, how much of a morale booster it was because he polished the Indian tail quite cheaply on both innings?
Yeah, I think always good to I suppose get the last few wickets of a team out for quite cheaply. I think the difference between chasing 400s and late 300s there's obviously a big difference. So I suppose it did give us a bit of confidence going in. But I think the way the team plays and the ethos that Ben and Brendan want the team to play with is that we'd have tried to chase down pretty much anything. But obviously the less runs you have to get on day 5, the better. So I suppose it probably did give us a bit of confidence going into that batting innings. But obviously there was still a lot of work to do.
Thank you.
And last one at the back of the room, please.
Just from a Rishabh Pant's perspective, do you plan any differently for him compared with other batters? Or is there a challenge to try and improvise when he bats against Edgbaston?
Sorry, I didn't get the start of that. What was that?
Rishabh.
Oh, Rishabh.
For him, do you feel the need to sort of improvise when he bats the way he does?
Look, I mean, Rishabh's a player which you don't really know what's coming next. He's a player which keeps you on your toes as a bowler, which is sometimes exciting to bowl against, but sometimes he can put you on the back foot as a bowler. But he makes the game move forward, exciting to be a part of the game when he's at the crease. But look, he scored 200s. Obviously up at Headingley, played really well, chanced his arm on a few occasions and came off, and hopefully this week we can get him a little bit earlier. But I think we haven't really met up yet, but I'm sure we'll have some discussions around some of the players that we come up against last week and how we can bowl at them a little bit better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers up.
We've got BBC and talk at the back of the room, and then we'll do a quick huddle with We're just going to do BBC and talk sport separately, and then we'll do a quick